Master.
Hi everyone, Master here with a brief comparison of the MISC hull ship variants. I've done videos on the Hull A to the Hull C, but you really have to see the whole line of ships next to each other to understand how amazing they are. Keep in mind, some of this info may change when CIG finally releases the ships. MISC created the Hull cargo line of ships in 2802 with Xi'an technology with a focus on easy loading and unloading of cargo. All Hull ships have extending spindle arms where cargo can be attached externally. It's easy to use tractor beams to load the cargo, but that also means the cargo is more exposed to theft or damage. The Hull ships all have a cab area for crew to rest and use bathroom facilities, so they are well designed for long-range use. They are not fast ships, but can carry a lot of cargo for their size compared to other cargo ships, and have very efficient engines for long distances. Many companies have developed ships and systems optimized to assist loading and unloading Hull ships, such as the Argo MPUV and Raft ships. The Hull ships range from the small Hull A to the gigantic Hull E, optimized for different cargo loads and situations. All Hull ships have at least one airlock and docking port on the side, possibly more on the larger ships. First, we have the Hull A. It's a one-person ship with a bed, bathroom, and basic kitchen facilities that is currently flyable. Cockpit visibility is decent, at least better than the Freelancers. It's 22 meters long, 8 meters wide, and 4 meters high. It can carry 64 SCU of cargo on two side spindle arms. It has a combat speed of 108 meters a second and a max speed of 1000 meters a second. It has a nose turret for defense with dual size 1 laser repeaters. There are two size 1 shields. Price is $90 in time limited sales or 1.3 million UEC in-game at Lorville. There are 3 paints available for the Hull A. The Hull A is perfect for cargo carrying on planets with heavy gravity and in compact areas too small for other cargo ships. It's also an inexpensive way to jump into cargo gameplay. It's small and easy to maneuver, and will go through even the smallest jump points. Next is the Hull B, considered a heavy freighter, and it is still in concept stage. It is also designed for one crew, but I believe it may be able to handle more than one. It has a larger cabin, but we don't know what it will look like inside yet. The ship is 49 meters long, 15.5 meters wide, and 17 meters high with arms out. It is listed as carrying 384 SCU on 4 spindle arms. 2 on the sides and 1 on top and 1 on the bottom. We don't know if the ship can land with the lower spindle arm mount. It has a gun mount on the nose and a turret with dual guns. No word on how these weapons will be set up in the end. The price is $140 in time limited sales on the website. It is listed as having 2 size 2 shields for defense. The Hull B is the largest hull ship that can land with cargo. It'll be able to carry almost as much as a Caterpillar, but with a tiny crew. It'll be very vulnerable to attack though, so you will need support. The Hull C is next as a middle ship of the line, but is considered a large ship. It is expected to be released this year, but no word on which patch yet. The Hull C is the first true multi-crew hull ship with a crew of 2 to 4. It is a large ship at 125 meters long, 55 meters wide, and 55 meters high. The cargo capacity is 4,608 SCU, most of it on the arms, but with a little internal storage as well, probably about 12 SCU. It may have a small elevator that you could possibly fit a ground vehicle on, possibly hover vehicles or a Drake Mule. The Hull C can only carry the 32 SCU containers, not the smaller 1 SCU ones. It has 2 large shield generators and seems to have 3 turrets as well as a couple of main guns for defense. They might be remote turrets, but that is not confirmed. There might be a tractor beam turret too. The Hull C is a big ship, and you can even walk through the central spindle to reach the rear section for engineering. The front of the ship is mostly crew quarters and storage. We have been told the Hull C cannot land with cargo on the spindles, so it'll have to be loaded and unloaded in space. The larger cargo containers will require ships like the Raft, Argo SRV, or large cargo ships with tractor beams to load or unload the Hull C. The price is $350 in time limited sales. It has a lot of turrets, but will be slow, so bring escorts when flying. The next ship is the Hull D, one of the first capital-sized cargo ships in the Hull line, and still in concept. It has a crew of 5 with more extensive crew quarters. It is 209 meters long, 70 meters wide, and 70 meters high. It is too large to land on planets with cargo arms extended, so it'll mostly be focused on space operations except when being repaired. It can carry 20,736 SCU, which comes out to 648 of the large 32 SCU containers. It may have limited internal cargo storage as well, probably with a larger cargo elevator and maybe more space for ground vehicles. There are 2 capital shield generators and most likely 5 to 6 turrets, plus possibly tractor beams. The shields are very tough, but some ammo, like ballistic ammo, might still get through. The Hull D goes for $450 in time limit sales and will require large jump points. It should be a pretty tough ship, but it won't be a fast vessel at combat speed. Finally, we have the truly massive Hull E. When the UEE Navy needed even more cargo than the Hull D could handle, MISC rolled out the Hull E. The Hull E is still in concept. The listed crew size shows 5 people, but I suspect that number will grow a lot for a ship this large. It's 372 meters long, 104 meters wide, and 104 meters high. It can carry 98,304 SCU, which is 3,072 of those large 32 SCU containers, which is crazy. It has 2 capital-sized shield generators and many remote turrets, with probably 1 or 2 tractor beams too. It has capital-sized quantum drives and fuel tanks. The Hull E goes for $750 in time and quantity limited sales. It's such a large ship that the Hull A could fit in just one of those engines. The ship has large and spacious interiors with a crew section alone that's larger than the constellation Andromeda. The Hull E is almost the size of a Javelin. Just getting from the front of the ship to the rear could require a buggy just to get there in time. Obviously, a ship this size will be slow maneuvering and it will require both fighter support as well as a fleet of other support craft for loading and unloading. An Argo raft can only carry 3 32 SCU containers, and the Hull E can carry over 3,000 of those, so that would need a ton of ships to carry off those containers and load them, especially since it can't land the cargo directly on a planet. Landing a Hull E empty would still be a difficult process, so I expect it'll only stay in space and only dock at space stations normally. It can only go through the largest jump points, so it'll be limited in the star systems it can travel through, so it may have to go through long detours or be prevented from entering certain systems. It may require in-flight refueling for very long trips. The MISC Hull series ships are amazing cargo ships, requiring small crews and less maintenance than many other cargo ships. In return, they are also more defenseless against pirates and enemy forces. The ships are cheap to run, and in safe civilian space they are great. Just be cautious using these ships in areas known to be infested with pirates or Vandal. Use the money saved to hire ship escorts, and always make sure you have a large enough crew to man all the turrets. And keep the shields up. If the shields were to drop, then other ships could just yank off cargo containers from the external arms. One way to keep the ship safe is to fly in convoys, so each ship can help cover each other and also maximize coverage per security ship that you have. One benefit of Hull ships is using them in combination with other ships like the Vulture, Reclaimer, or Prospector. You can mine or salvage and then load the boxes onto the Hull ships easily with the external cargo arms without interrupting your work. There are also military versions of the Hull C to Hull E ships with extra armor, shielding, and weapons, but probably less cargo capacity. We'll have to see how they differ from the civilian versions once they release, but they will probably be very rare to buy. Another thing to note, the Hull ships are turning out larger than their concepts were. The Hull A is size and a half larger than the original concept, so expect the other Hull ships to be pretty big when they release. CIG realized they had to increase the internal space for players and NPCs to move around. Also, the design for the released Hull A looks so much better than the concept. So if the Hull A is anything to go by, the other variants will be amazing looking ships with excellent functionality. Can you imagine fleets of Hull ships flying around full of cargo, going between planets and systems? It'll be awesome. Alright, so that's my review of the MISC Hull ship variants. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can use my referral code if you decide to jump into Star Citizen, and you'll get 5,000 extra in-game credits. Here's a big thank you to my current patrons. I have a Patreon going for $3 a month. All patrons will have their names listed at the end of my videos and get first pick on the next item I'll cover. So feel free to sign up and let me know what you'd like to see next. Okay, catch you all next time.